Welcome to AS Journey. Eating a low-starch diet has worked wonders for many people managing AS. However, there are a lot of foods that you wouldn't expect to have gluten and added starch in them. So today I'm going to talk to you about common foods that have hidden gluten and starch and why you must read the labels. As a reminder, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notifications when I release new videos. So about a year after my AS began, I discovered the low starch diet. And so right away I just cut out potatoes, wheat flour, and starch. And my pain drastically reduced. It was like night and day. But soon after that, I would have little pains here and there, and I started to realize that there was a lot of foods that I was eating that had hidden starch and gluten in them. Gluten is a protein found in wheat flour. A lot of food that doesn't contain any wheat in them still have a label that says may contain wheat. So this either means that the product has not been verified to be gluten-free, or it means that it's made on the same equipment that other products with wheat flour are made on. So a good rule of thumb is if you see that label may contain wheat flour, just assume that there's wheat in it. For example, oats by itself is gluten-free, but when you read the label of most oats, it'll say may contain wheat. That goes for granola bars and a lot of other things. So you could be eating wheat and getting pain as a result without even knowing it. The other thing people managing AS with diet are trying to avoid is starch. Many vegetables store their energy in the form of starch. For me, natural starches don't bother me so much, but once it's concentrated into a powdered form, it gives me problems, specifically in my SI joint. So added starch tends to be used in foods that need to be thickened or that have a creamy texture. So common forms of added starch include cornstarch, potato starch, rice starch, modified food starch, pea starch, and tapioca starch. So some food that you might be surprised to find added starch in include barbecue sauce, creamy salad dressings, sour cream, and Gatorade. Check out my video where I go to the grocery store and I show all the items with hidden starch in them. Just as a note, corn flour and rice flour are not the same thing as corn starch and rice starch. So corn and rice flours, for me, have been really great substitutes for wheat flour. Things like tacos and nachos are usually made of corn flour. And I found that these two flours have been really great for baking gluten-free recipes. Also, for some reason, I can handle small amounts of tapioca starch in gluten-free items, although I try to avoid it altogether. In the case of gravies and barbecue sauces, you could just assume that they have cornstarch in them. But in those cases where you're not really sure and it's hard to tell, and maybe your host or waiter doesn't know, I would just say avoid them. Just err on the side of caution, and just choose something that's a safe option. Maybe some meat and some vegetables, something that doesn't have starch or gluten added to it. It takes some time, to figure out what exactly has these ingredients in them. But after a while, you'll get to recognize the brands that contain wheat and starch and what to avoid and which ones are safe to eat. It takes a little bit of discipline, but over time you'll get used to it and you'll build your own system. Have you had the same experience with hidden ingredients in your food? Please leave a comment, share your experience. Well, thanks for watching, and God bless. If you enjoyed this video and felt it was valuable in helping you manage your AS, hit the like button and please share this video with others. And if you want more AS content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen for my free 21-day challenge.